Hey, this is Andrea. I'm on my way home from walking kids to school, and I wanted to talk about two different kinds of product creators, right? And asset creators and networking opportunities. I want to go off on the previous video, with a little bit more detail, right? Because most of the people when I started this business that I was thinking of, are people who are doing low content and no content books, right? And so I was creating assets for them to use in their book covers marketing or whatever. But I'm also someone who just this week uploaded, or on the weekend, uploaded a new book myself to Kindle. I've published over 1,500 books. And so I'm also my own perfect customer, right? And so both of these are product creators. So if I'm creating book covers for people to buy as a one-off thing, or if I'm creating an actual book that I'm putting up on Amazon, it's a one-off kind of a deal. Especially the type of books that I'm creating. Sorry, sound like I had a flat tire, but I just went through some water. The book creation side of it, you would think to yourself, I just create that book and I put it up line and that's it, I'm done, right? How do I even use that as an asset? How do I even go into the networking side of actually putting books up on Kindle or Lulu or wherever, right? But that is probably where your biggest gold mine is. So you don't actually have to be an asset creator like I am. I'm creating like digital stickers that you can use to make the covers of your books. But what if you were just interested in creating a book? Like, you're not interested in creating those digital assets. You don't have the skills for it or the interest in doing it. Like, I just love doing it. It's so much fun. So maybe that's not your thing. I get that. You just want to create a book, a unique book with a great interior. How can you take that to the asset level, and how can you take that to the network level? So as an asset, I want you to think back to high school. I don't know where you went to high school, but when I went to high school, and I see this with my teenagers, they get things like yearbooks and they get things like student ID cards, right? Student ID cards were always done with the photographs of the kid on them, and the photographs were taken on school photograph day, right? So I want you to think of this. I went to a school myself that had probably 1,500 people, and there's a car coming. 1,500 people in the school. My kids are in, my high school kids are in similarly sized schools, maybe a little bit smaller. But that's like, we'll just take 1,500 as a number. 1,500 students, and then staff, 30 staff, 40, 50 staff. On top of that, these are going to be photographed, right? So 1,600 people are being photographed for this school. Maybe some buildings, maybe some teams, right? So the soccer team, the basketball team, or whatever, maybe they're being, so maybe we've got 1,600 photos that are being taken. The photographer's getting paid to take those photos. But the photographer may also upsell his services to, I'm going to create those student ID cards. I'm going to use these images for you, or benefit to make your yearbook. And so I'm going to come 3 times during the year and take some pictures of student life in the happening, and then we'll create that book for you. So they're basically taking the assets, which are the photographs, right, and they're creating other things with it. So how can you do that with your books? Let's say you've created a school agenda for boys, and let's say it's for 8th graders and 9th graders, right? What are boys interested in? What are boys involved with? In my day, it would have been scouting. Today, I don't know, something else. I live in Germany, so I don't know what kids in North America are doing these days, and that's where I'm assuming most of you are. So what are those kids involved with? A friend of mine, her son is in grade 9 or grade 10, I guess he starts next week, and he's into ice hockey. He's in Canada, he's into ice hockey. So for ice hockey, what is where's the asset side of that? Can I take that book that I've already created, that content? Can I create something Sorry, I have to pay attention when I cross the road here. Can I create something that's going to be a benefit for his whole ice hockey team? So in Canada, ice time is expensive. Practice time is expensive. So ice hockey especially is just an incredibly expensive sport. And if your child is competitive, it's even going to be more expensive. And that means there's going to be lots of opportunity to do sponsorships and fundraising, right? So could your book creation skills and your school agenda that you've created to sell on Amazon, could that also be repurposed as an asset to a hockey club, a baseball club, a football club? Do you see where I'm going here? Somewhere local, somewhere where you personally might know someone, right? Helping in the community. Hey, look, I have this. I'd love to create this asset for you guys, for this team. Can I use the logo of the club? Can you give me the names of the kids, right? So what are you getting? You're getting assets that you can use, joint venturing. All of a sudden we're no longer at the assets, we're in the joint venturing and networking part, right? And you're taking your skills and taking it further. I used to play soccer in Canada, and my sister played competitive soccer, so I know a lot about the fundraising and all that kind of stuff that goes along the side. And so a lot of business owners have been doing this for 30 years and longer, right? How can you get into existing systems that have customers? Now, they're not thinking of their customers as people who would go out and buy jerseys, books, whatever, right? They're thinking of their customers as basically members of the club, right? Members of the ice hockey club, members of the baseball club, members of the whatever. But you can get in there and you could say, hey, well, I have developed this asset, which is a name sticker for every kid on the team. And we can actually take that to Zazzle or Redbubble or something like that, and actually get that put onto drinking bottles or, right, merchandise of some sort, or t-shirts, right? And the parents and the grandparents can order these for Christmas, and we'll just mark up the price so that we do have a profit margin, and we can actually do some really nice fundraising. Now, why is fundraising a way to grow your business? Because essentially the funds that you generate from that are going into the fundraising pot, so they're going to the benefit of the club, right? Well, there's a few things that you're getting there. You're getting assets, new assets. You're getting names of concrete kids who do a very specific thing. They're into a sport, right? And if you set up a website that has the order forms on that, then you control all kinds of stuff, right? If they order t-shirts and the t-shirts are going to be sent to their house, you get a mailing address. So you get a name of a kid, you get the size of the t-shirt that they need, you get their mailing address, and you know very much that they play ice hockey on this team, right? What can you do with that information? Well, you can create more products, and you can offer them bonuses on top of that and say, hey, look, I'll be donating 10% of these proceeds to these extra things that I created, right? Whatever that might be. And that might be relevant to, you need to be careful if you're allowed to use the logo of the club for your own things. You need to be careful. You need to ask. You need to know exactly what your rights are with all those kind of things. But you could then take that and sell your boy's agenda, which has nothing to do with the club, right? You can just say, hey, I see that you ordered this t-shirt for the whatever club, Toronto Maple Leafs club, Marlies club, whatever, right? Would you be interested in this? I've actually created a journal, this calendar, and it has these motivational things, aspects to it. You know, then you put out your unique whatever that is that you have that is going there, that you can actually sell that to. And 10% of these proceeds will go on top of the fundraiser, right? It'll go right to the club, and you're supporting them as well as a small business along the way. And if not, that's good. We're cool. Your t-shirt will be ready in 2 weeks, and we'll send it to you, right? And that's what you do. This is how you actually start thinking about networking. And it doesn't have to be with kids, adults, golfers, whatever. What are adults into? What kind of clubs are they into? What kind of interests do they have? Fishing clubs are big here in Germany. Angler- und Wassersportverein. Also hunting. And just various things. What are the interests there? What kind of clubs are you involved with, right? My kids are in the Pathfinders and scouting, so I could create assets for scouting. And once I've created those assets for my local scouting, so once you've created those assets for your one local club team age group, you can say for the rest of the club, hey, if you're interested, I can offer this to you guys for fundraising as well. I just need this information from you, namely the names of the kids and so on and so forth. And I need you to tell the kids this is where the fundraising is happening, right? They're doing the marketing for you as well, which is just brilliant, right? So you take those assets, go further. Well, once you've done your things in your district, wouldn't necessarily go to the rivals in the very next town over, right, with their hockey teams. But think of a different area, but serving the same people, the same type of people, right? So boys who play ice hockey, how can you go over a couple of districts, or districts is probably the wrong word. I don't even know the word, it's not coming to me. So geographical area, just slightly a bit further so that they're not in direct competition to your kids. And work on, if you use their logos and use their kids' names, it's still going to be a very unique thing. And even if the logos and the kids' names or whatever are different or you use the colors of their teams in the book creation, in the agenda creation side of things. So there's that. You can take the exact same principle and take it to high schools, which is where we started with this, right? Which was the student ID cards and so on and so forth. How can you do that with the sports teams of a high school? And you can create really cool agendas and bank on the fact that, the loyalty to the various schools is going to be big. And so you can have the jocks at the one school and just say, we're going to beat and then name of the Cougars at the other school. Those kind of things. Let's come and cheer on our team and put your, the chants or whatever, the colors of the team inside the agenda. And all of a sudden you have a series of unique books that you can be directly taking to. Well, who could you take that to, right? Who is fundraising at schools? Well, I'll tell you this, the student council is fundraising because they want to hold a dance, they want to hold a party, they want to do this, they want to do that, or they just want to get new equipment, they want to add things to that. So that's the one thing, student council. On the other hand is the parent-teacher association, right? They're trying to fund things. They want to get new books in the library. They want to get new whatever, right? So there are even gremiums within the school that are working on fundraising. Of course, the sports teams, because some sport teams are very, very competitive and they do a lot of travel, and so they want to have gas money. They want to be able to buy better equipment. They want to be able to support good athletes who come from unfortunate circumstances and can't afford breakfast in the morning, right? No child left hungry. There are many ways to get into schools and helping that way. And not everybody's going to be able to buy. I remember, I don't even know why I did it. I guess it was peer pressure. But when I was in high school, they were selling rings, school rings, and I had to have one. I do have one. I have a school ring from my school, which I don't wear. And I don't even remember how much it cost. I do remember that it took me effort to save money to buy it. So it wasn't a cheap $10 thing. It was more expensive. But I can't have absolutely no frame of reference how expensive it would have been. But the point is your student body could find ways to help support students who would really like to have a ring but can't afford it, all of those kind of things. So getting in on that side allows you to develop assets, and it allows you to have a different kind of asset. That asset is not what you're going to sell, but it's the list of people that you can sell to, because you begin You gain, oh, the sidewalk's a bit too narrow for my buggy here. You gain insights into the market space, a very tight market space, and you can really begin to satisfy that market space through your networking abilities, right? So that's what I have for you today. If you're just a book creator and you just throw up a book on Amazon and see what happens, right? There's still ways to take that principle of product creation, asset creation, and networking even further and really hone in on your things. Because here's the thing, if you're able to create something that is really resonating with boys who play hockey, that can be taken and that can be put up on Amazon and that can be sold probably a lot more successfully than I'm just going to throw it up there and see if it works to Amazon, right? Because you've proven the concept. You've proven the concept that people are interested in that and think that that's a cool idea. In fact, if you're working with the ice hockey or whatever club you're working with, you can actually brainstorm and say, okay, well, what are things that you would like to have in a yearly agenda, a planner for the kids, right? So you want them to think of you want them to be working on their mindset. What can we put into that agenda to help them every week just to remember winning principles, right? Championship principles, how to give your best principles, right? What are these things? So you can be actually developing content in your networking, right? And getting things put together and really have a solid, unique offer that you can then take elsewhere, right? The final thing that I can say is if you're working in the area of finding clubs, so that could be sports clubs, that could be scouting, that kind of thing, churches as well, is you can find then the celebrities, right? Who could be local celebrities, right? Who was this club's best player who's gone on to bigger and better things, right? All of a sudden you can get endorsements going. These are just great ways to use your network and to continue to grow these kind of things, right? So, imagine living in Ontario where Wayne Gretzky came from and actually being close enough to talk to someone in that hockey club, right? Maybe, and I'm not speaking for Wayne Gretzky or anything like that, but maybe there's an opportunity to get like the real big fish to endorse your work. Of course, that's a great way to catapult your earnings well beyond the $2,000 a month. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Wishing you all the best. Any questions, comments, let me know. If you think this was valuable, share it with other people. Spread the word. Why? Because you are then entering the world of networking. People begin to understand that you're a person who understands and grasps these principles, and they might want to work with you. They might want to work with me. And working together is way, way, way better than working against each other. All right, so I'm home now, and I have a sleeping child here. And